Good afternoon. This is Manjusha Radhakrishnan from Gulf News. Today we have a very exciting guest for our Day in the Life of series. We have Elham Al Marzooqi. I think she's a multitasker. I know she's a cellist. She's got so many superlatives attached to her name. She's an amazing musician, a prodigy, I'm told, and also a mom and a lawyer. That's a lot on your plate, and these are the kind of women we look up to as well. But tell us, what's a day in your life like?
Oh gosh. Normally, it's getting up at 6 in the morning. Got two kids, Amira and Jacob. So take them to school and then go to work. And if it's a Firdaus on-site day, I go to work. I work at Ithara, so I'm senior legal counsel there. And then around 4 o'clock, 4-ish, I head to Firdaus studio because I live in Abu Dhabi. And
So you do the commute?
Yes, I do the commute. So I get to Firdaus studio around 5 o'clock, and then we do the rehearsals. Usually it is from 5 to 9. And then I make the trip back home, and I get home around 10-ish.
That's called a full day. Yes.
That's pretty much, and then I crash. I kind of have to emphasize that it's not every day, and it's like, because I'm a part-timer musician, so I do this twice a week. However, when we do have, for example, recordings or video shoots or performances or anything like that, I will say, right, I'm going to work remote from the studio, because I feel that if we don't do the things that we are passionate about, then you get to a point in life that you think, all right, why didn't I do that? Why didn't I pursue this? Is it because of family? Is it because of society? Is it because of all of that? I was very fortunate when I was younger that my parents were always pushing me to do, all the music stuff. So, for example, my mom, she founded the first music institute in Abu Dhabi. So that's when I started my musical education. I started with piano. Then later on in life, much later,
in 20s, I heard.
In my 20s,
Wow.
yeah, I started my thing. Right, I want to do. I want to be part of an orchestra. I always loved the cello. I said, let's do this. I'm very grateful, that actually I have the opportunity to do this. I auditioned for those. Back, it was just after the pandemic.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah,
yes,
it was
when
all
we had
online, everything.
And you're the only Emirati musician to have made that cut.
Yes,
From
yes.
different, it's reflected pride for all of us.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
amazing.
I was shocked. Actually, I was shocked. I'm thinking, it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's like, why am I the only one? Like, maybe it's reflective of, maybe the education, of the musical education you find. You don't have that, embedded within the schools, like what you have in Europe, for
Right.
example,
Yes, of course.
whereas I was able to do that because through my mom, she actually wanted me to study music at university.
That's
She wanted me to
interesting.
all of this, and so did my dad, which is quite, different from Middle
Yes,
Eastern
they didn't want you to be a
families.
doctor.
When I said I wanted, first of all, I actually did English and French degree in the UK, and then I decided, right, I want to spend time in France. Then I said, right, I want to be a lawyer. And they just looked at me and they're like, what?
Why a lawyer? Why a conventional job?
Why don't you just go back into the music? And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm gonna be a lawyer.
I love your parents.
And they were like, okay. So I did that, and then a master's, and then I qualified as a solicitor in the UK.
Yes.
So I'm an English solicitor, and then pulled me to different directions, and I was still doing the piano bit, so I was still continuing that, and and everything, and then I'm like, what, I want to be part of a team. Like I always wanted to be part of an orchestra. I was part of an orchestra when I was in school, but
Right.
that was like, when you have the recorder and whatever, all of this kind of stuff, but not like
This
proper.
is professional.
Exactly.
And you perform with Beyonce, we are talking Andrea Bocelli, and we are talking like world-class musicians, right? They take their art very seriously.
Well, this is the thing, because when I started, taking cello lessons and everything, I went straight into being part of an orchestra, the community orchestra, and then it was going from one community orchestra to another orchestra, another, it's a professional, semi-professional, etc. But they were all freelancers. And then, I got into, performing with Andrea Bocelli in Abu Dhabi and also in Saudi. And yeah, Beyonce, I mean...
She was also very inspiring. I was there
Yeah.
at the performance. I saw her husband and her
Right.
kids watching from the top, and he was watching her like a hawk.
Yeah.
And I could see the kind of support that husbands actually, like he's almost
Yes.
like her manager, right?
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much.
Looks after her brand,
Yes.
the way she performs. Does your husband also like watch out for you,
I
perhaps?
mean, the thing is with my husband, I'm really lucky in that aspect because, some people might think, oh, it's taking me away from family time, taking me away from this and that, but he really does support, with the whole me being in this industry, me going to Firdaus, me going, rehearsals, dealing with the kids when I could be dealing with them,
Right.
So, or when if I'm in a magazine or if I'm in a newspaper or whatever, I'm like, Anthony, can you go and get me? Please, I haven't got time. I can't, and it's only for today. And it'll go. The edition is gone
Right.
because I want the hard copies. And he would just go around. I can't find it here. Go somewhere else. Go somewhere else.
That's a supportive husband. I think
Yes.
that's also required, right? It takes a
That
community to,
Yes. I mean,
perhaps to cultivate talent.
I think it's very easy for us to say, oh, we can do it on our own. Yes, we can. But why not have that support as well? Because you then will have more time to think of your music instead of worrying, oh, you know what, I'm a bad mom, or I'm a bad wife, or I'm not, picking up after this, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing this. Why is it always like the women have to feel that they are, sacrificing so much when you would never ask that from a guy? If a guy went on tour or a musician, you just be like, okay, yeah, he's on tour, You would never, if he has kids, you would never
Nobody
think,
asked them.
nobody asked them
a rock
these
star.
questions. Yeah,
How are you doing this?
Yeah,
on life on the
exactly.
road.
Exactly. Nobody asked them these questions. So it's kind of like, I feel that these questions, they kind of also make us feel that we are never going to be enough. We're never going to be enough in terms of being a mom, in terms of being a worker, in terms of being a lawyer, in terms of being a musician, in terms of being a wife, in terms
True.
of being, all of that. And I think we should really, really cut ourselves some slack here.
Do you think we should at some point just say women needn't have it all?
We don't look. I feel that we do not have it all. However, you need to be very strategic in what you want. Okay, you can't say I'm going to be this and I'm going to be that and I'm going to be that and I'm going to, because it's just not feasible. Even a guy, okay, if you tell I'm going to be all of these things, he would burn out as well. Like, for example, you're practicing. There is a complicated piece that you're practicing, and it's iterative. So you're analyzing the piece, and then you're like, right, first how you have to kind of deconstruct it and build it together. Okay, the style, the technique, the phrasing, this, that. It's like you're sculpting.
Yes.
You're sculpting every
Slowly
day.
chipping away at
And then you
things,
feel
yeah.
every day you're feeling better about yourself. They're like, oh yeah, I feel good that I've done this. I feel that good that I've mastered this. Because you're not going to get from 1 to 100 in one day. No need to beat yourself up about it. Okay, you just don't feel it. It's not vibing. Okay, so let's try and find some inspiration. There has been times I'm just not feeling it. So I'm like, right, let me find inspiration in different genres, different styles, different composers, whatever it is.
Right.
And sometimes it's just maybe you just require a break so your brain can digest everything and say, right, I'm ready again. It takes me a long time to be able to switch off, but even then, because you have 2 careers, if you switch off from work, let's say you have annual leave, you go to work,
Yes.
or you go to holiday, but your music thing is still going on.
So you still want to
because it's still
tour a
like
bit.
yeah, because you're like, oh, I have to do this Instagram thing, I have to do that, I have to do this. Okay, this article, they're asking me questions for interview, I have to respond.
Yes. And you saw an icon in action. The
Yes.
kind of they practice so much. You just see hard work.
It was even behind the scenes when you were rehearsing with them, rehearsing with the dancers, rehearsing with the the band, rehearsing with you can see, you know, the level of professionalism.
Yes.
You know, like it's very much like, and there's a lot of respect as well, you know, going with artist to artist, you know, and everything is just like, right, this is what we're gonna do. And I remember it was like in January, so it was cold at nighttime.
Yes.
And there was water, and you know, dancers in water. It was freezing. So it was, you know, so kind of like in that you saw the level of sacrifice, the professionalism,
Discipline
the discipline,
consistency,
yeah.
right?
It
They
was-
turn up every day.
Yes. This is not a joke. I mean,
Yeah.
this is, you know, you can't just say, oh, I'm not doing it, I'm tired. No, you do it, you know. So for me, it was like one of those things. I mean, we had like other concerts as well. Like, for example, one other concert was Anushka Shankar.
Oh,
She-
wow,
yeah,
brilliant.
she-
In,
yeah.
what is it in Dubai though?
Yeah, it was
In
in
Dubai.
Dubai.
Okay,
In Dubai.
lovely.
That was like amazing
Yeah.
because, you know, she's such an icon, and you know, a woman, you know, a female musician, female composer. You know, her works were not easy as well, you know, and we really worked hard, you know, and it was I loved her, and it's opened my world, okay, to different genres of music.
Yeah.
So, you know, and yeah, I'm very grateful for that. Thank you.
And I love the fact that you said women can't have it all. It's okay.
It's
Define your
fine.
role.
Yeah.
Define your role. Choose your role.
Choose it, and you know, like for me, it's be strategic. You know, figure out what you want, okay, and find a way. You have to plan. You can't just go, right, I'm gonna this. I don't know how I'm gonna get to that. No, do your research. How are you gonna get to that place that you want? Ask for help. There's no absolute. I've asked for help so many times.
No,
you know,
that
like,
really
it's-
works. On that note, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
speaking to us.
Thank you very
Such
much
a
for
pleasure.
having me.